So, have you been looking for that ultimate boating community here in South Florida?
Yeah, the ultimate boating community.
Everything. It has some condos for you. It has canals. It has beautiful single-family homes. It has parkland. It has access to the intercoastal waterway and ultimately access out to the Atlantic. Have you been looking for that? Well, if you have, terrific. We are at the place that you need to be, Lighthouse Point. And if you haven't, you still need to look at Lighthouse Point because it may end up being something that you really want to consider. Lighthouse Point is a very highly sought after community here in North Broward County. It's only a small community. It's only about 2.4, 2.5 square miles. So it's not a big community. Now, but of that 2.4, 2.5 square miles, there's about 18 miles of canals. And there are also a couple of opportunities for you to get all the way out to the Atlantic with no fixed bridges.
That's true. It's a gorgeous, picturesque community.
One of the things that really, to us, that really makes it special is that regardless of whether you're coming into Lighthouse Point or you're going out of Lighthouse Point, when you come in through the inlet, there's a beautiful old 19th century lighthouse that actually works, that kind of shines a beacon at light to kind of welcome you home, okay, and to point your way out when you leave.
Right, so if you're looking for a place to retire, if you're looking for a place for a second home, or if you're
just looking to move,
right, to relocate, you know, and for a family, Lighthouse Point
is it, and we're going to tell you why. Lighthouse Point is basically, it's a gem for anybody who's looking for that mix of boating and lifestyle, because Lighthouse Point, it's a very small area. It's only 2.4 square miles, but I mean, it packs a wallop, the 2.4 square miles. So, I mean, in addition to just the beautiful serene background and all the canals, which makes it a boater's paradise, okay? You have its namesake, the lighthouse. The lighthouse has been it's been up there for over 100 years. It's a national treasure, okay? And you know what? It works. At night, the light goes on, it spins around. So you can take a look and kind of find your way back home here to Lighthouse Point.
Well, actually, Kev, that's one of our, we did family pictures at Lighthouse Point.
That's true. That is very true. So one of the things you're going to notice about Lighthouse Point, before we get into some of the particulars about the location, some of the benefits of it, one of the things you're going to notice is that when you come here to Lighthouse Point, okay, let me tell you some of the things that you're not going to see before I tell you all the great, wonderful things you are going to see. One of the things you're not going to see is you're not going to see 15, 20, 25-story condo buildings and apartment buildings. And you're not going to see preponderance of all these different resorts that are jammed together and everything else. Now, that's not because people wouldn't want to. They would love to be able to do that, but it's the way Lighthouse Point itself is set up. There are some condos here that go up maybe 5 or 6 stories, like the one sitting right over here. If you take a look over here, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But I mean, it's right on the intercoastal, so who can begrudge that? Okay. The other thing you're not going to see is you're not going to see a whole lot of jammed together shops and jammed together shopping. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not shops available. This doesn't mean that there's not places that you can go. We still have Publix. We also have a lot of great places to go to eat. We'll talk about some of those in more detail later. But from the standpoint of the location, I mean, you really can't ask for a better place. It's smack in the middle of everything. It's about 20 minutes from the Fort Lauderdale International Airport, half an hour, 45 minutes from Miami International. Same distance from West Palm Beach International to the north. It's 20 minutes from Boca, 20 minutes from Fort Lauderdale to the south, Boca to the north. Heck, it's only 5 minutes each, 5 minutes south of Deerfield Beach, and it's only 5 minutes north of Pompano Beach, where it has a preponderance of beaches. And if you really want some of those some more options as far as where you can be, the resorts, and you want the taller condos, you have those at Deerfield Beach, you have those at Pompano. Obviously, of course, you have them at Boca and Fort Lauderdale. And I mean, everybody's seen CSI Miami, Miami Vice. There's tons and tons and tons of very, very tall condos and buildings down in Miami. But here in Lighthouse Point, what they're trying to do is they want to make it a very nice and very relaxing place to live. Now, one of the other really cool things about Lighthouse Point is that even though it's only 2.4 square miles, there are over 18 miles of canals. Okay, and what does that kind of tell you about this? This tells you basically that this is where boaters want to be. Now, one of the unique things about these canals is that these canals take you directly out to this beautiful body of water out here known as the Intercoastal Waterway, which can take you just down the water piece. Okay, it'll take you right out to the Atlantic. So in many respects, much like you have the paved roads where folks can drive and they can walk, folks that have boats, they actually have their own little water-based roadway coming through Lighthouse Point. Now, there are no fixed bridges here in Lighthouse Point. So What do I mean by no fixed bridges? Basically, a fixed bridge is a bridge that's a fixed height over the water. There's no drawbridge option to it. There's no way to open the bridge up or anything like that, or any functionality like that. So essentially what happens is the bridge, typically depending upon the tide, is somewhere between 12 and 14 feet above the water. Now that's great for the little boats, for smaller boats to get through, but if you've got a tall masted sailboat, or if you've got one of the big cabin cruisers, you know, or one of the big yachts that are coming through, you're probably going to have to sneak around and come into the intercoastal via the drawbridges. But there are a couple of drawbridges that can actually facilitate you getting out to where you want to get to. From what I understand is that from the furthest point in Lighthouse Point to the ocean, one of our clients told us that basically it's no more than 20 or 25 minutes. So again, whether you're driving, whether you're flying, or whether you're coming in by boat, Lighthouse Point is centrally located to just about everything. So, you know, as you walk the canals here in Lighthouse Point, one of the things you can't help notice is basically how big they are and how deep they are. So right now, we're actually right with our backs to the intercoastal waterway. So, which is where all the canals here in Lighthouse Point ultimately empty into. So, you know, as we mentioned before, there are about 18 miles of canals here in Lighthouse Point. And what that really says, and it kind of speaks to the fact that the canals themselves are really kind of the lifeblood of Lighthouse Point. It's also, if you think about it, there's actually more canalway than there is roadway here in Lighthouse Point. But the other thing is that Lighthouse Point isn't just about the waterways and the canals. It's about the homes that are on the canals, that give you access to the canals, that give you access to the waterways, and ultimately gives you access to the intercoastal. And, you know, and by going out through one of the inlets here, going right all the way out to the ocean. You know, and one of the things that you're going to notice, you're going to see through as we show you the tour, the walking tour here, okay, is you're going to see how well the canals and the waterways actually meld into the housing. So it really makes a great setup. Actually, as we can see behind us, folks coming right here down the intercoastal waterway. But you can see some of the condos behind us, some of the construction that's going on. Okay, where everything kind of melds together with a very nice melding of everything and a nice joining of everything. Everything here in Lighthouse Point. The property, the parkland, and the waterways. Welcome to our channel, Living in Fort Lauderdale with Kev and Suze. I'm Kev, and that's Suze behind the camera. Okay, so, but folks, and you know, as much as we love selling real estate down here in South Florida, as much as we love helping people with all their real estate needs, we really love being able to show folks, you know, what it is that we really enjoy about being down here in South Florida, being down in the Fort Lauderdale area. Okay, for example, being at Lighthouse Point, being able to walk around on a beautiful afternoon, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy all the scenery, enjoy the parkland and everything. We are one of the original YouTubers in South Florida. So if you have any questions about Fort Lauderdale area, about Lighthouse Point where we are, some of the other areas that we've gone out and done videos on, or South Florida as a whole, please feel free to reach out to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, drop us an email, DM us on Instagram, or go ahead and click on the link below, the Calendly link below, set up a Zoom link. We can chat for 40 to 45 minutes about any questions you all may have. Put any questions you have in the box. We'll be happy to answer anything that you have. So folks, I really kind of don't even know how to start this. This is other than basically, welcome to Lighthouse Point, welcome to the housing in Lighthouse Point, and prepare to get your mind blown. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable, some of the homes here in Lighthouse Point. So we'll take a little walk around. I'll show you what I'm talking about, and I'll give you a little information, a little insight on kind of the hows and the whys, if you will. Lighthouse Point is not a cheap place to live. It is not a least expensive place to live. It is an expensive place to live. Okay, single family homes here in Lighthouse Point. Okay, they basically, their prices range between $2 million and $4 million here in Lighthouse Point. Now, one of the things is the median price of homes here in Lighthouse Point. Okay, as you can see some of the ones behind us, the median price of homes last month in March of 2023, okay, was $2.1 million. Okay, that's up $500,000, or basically almost 30% from where it was just a year ago. So, I mean, it is not an inexpensive place to live here in Lighthouse Point. But again, as I'm showing you, as we're walking around, kind of show you, you can kind of take a look, and you can see why. Okay, so and the big thing, I guess, folks have been asking us is kind of, Why is it so expensive here in Lighthouse Point? Well, it's basically, you can actually kind of trace it back to what are the 3 rules of real estate: location, location, and location. And here in Lighthouse Point, you basically have primo location. You have one of 3 choices from the standpoint of how your land is. You either have a dry dock land, like those right behind us, right behind me, or you have homes that are on the intercoastal, like right across the street from where we are, or you have homes that are on the canals that basically lead into the intercoastal. So all of which are, given its proximity to the ocean itself and to the intercoastal, given the size of the lots, given the size of the homes, tends to put you in the upper price bracket for homes here in Lighthouse Point. One of the other things that is really cool about homes here in Lighthouse Point is that basically there's no real homeowners association. So folks kind of take care of their own. They kind of make sure that everybody does what's consistent with what they want, okay? Which tends to actually add to the allure of Lighthouse Point, as opposed to what some may think as kind of detracting from it. Folks, well, they'll walk around, they'll talk around. A lot of the neighbors here, they get to know each other. Everybody takes a look around. You'll have a lot of different types of property. The one right over here behind me, what we refer to as a Key West type of a home, where you see the little shutter that kind of pops up with a prop rod. Behind right over here is your traditional South Florida type home that has the barrel tile roofs. Okay, that has kind of the layout of it, but this one actually has a little bit higher, the second story going up, where they probably added this since it was built, because this was definitely built as a single-story home. So, but you'll see a lot of the different homes, a lot of different things here, a lot of different styles and a lot of different looks here in Lighthouse Point for homes. And one of the nice things is that basically you have a choice. You can either take some of the best of the ones that are around you, or you can go ahead and just basically start new and do whatever you want to do. So folks, I mean, we've showed you some of the houses. We've talked about some of the other benefits here, but one of the things that we cannot possibly overstate, okay, is for such a small area as Lighthouse Point is, they have some of the greatest places for dining and entertainment. One of our favorite places is basically right where we are here.
The Naughty Dog.
The Naughty Dog Cafe here at Lighthouse Point Marina. The food is awesome. They have live entertainment almost every night, starting around 5 or 5:30. They're open every day but Tuesdays, as we found out a couple times. A couple times we found that out by mistake. A couple times we kind of forgot about it and showed up.
To a tip, don't come on a Tuesday.
Don't come on a Tuesday. Okay. but I mean, it's super laid back. The food is fantastic. I mean, personally, I go for the mahi tacos. They're fantastic. I don't know what's in the sauce, but honestly, the sauce is fantastic. The food is great. The good sized portions too. So a couple of the other places that are certainly worth mentioning is one we've been to numerous times, Bonefish Mac. Okay.
Yes.
It's kind of like a sports bar, kind of a cafe, a little bit of everything. Portions are great. The prices are even better.
Lobster Mac is great.
Oh,
They
the
have
Lobster
good
Mac is
seafood.
great. The wings, they have these monster wings. Get them extra crispy with the honey garlic.
Stuffed shrimp with crab, can't beat that.
Now I'm making myself hungry all over again. Okay. Now, one of the other things, Susan, is that one of the main reasons that Susan and I came down here to South Florida was for seafood. We're both big-time seafood fans. And we actually stumbled on this little place here in Lighthouse Point. It's Papa's Raw Bar, but it's really kind of a seafood restaurant, a raw bar, and it's actually a seafood market. So whether you're going there to sit there and shuck a dozen oysters and kind of wash it down with some adult beverages, whether you're going to go out there to enjoy one of the wonderful meals like a lobster or a nice piece of fresh fish caught,
or
swordfish or whatever or if you just want to stop by on the way home like I used to do. Stop by and pick up a couple pieces of fish, bring them home and grill them ourselves. Definitely worth going to, checking it out. Papa's Raw Bar, the seafood market.
Oh, and then, Lighthouse Point is a great place to catch your own fish.
Oh, definitely.
And they have tons of charters that go out.
Definitely. Good point, Susan. The other places is that a couple other places that we like is Packy's. It's a nice little sports bar. Okay, for all of our videos and all of our friends, all of our video YouTubers and all of our friends that are Buffalo Bills and some of the teams up in the Northeast. Now, folks from Boston, I'm sorry about what happened with the Bruins, but I mean, hey, got to go with the Panthers down here in South Florida. But it's a great little sports bar. Right next to it, okay, is Gaucho's Rodriguez, and I'm going to butcher the name, Gaucho Radizo, okay? It's a Brazilian steakhouse, okay?
Oh,
Now, I don't care if you mispronounce it. I don't think they do either, but you got to go check it out. It's one of those ones where you go in there and they have the food, they have all the food on a big old spike, and they come by and they chop it off for you. It's like you remember the old Argentinian or Brazilian steakhouses? I mean, and as long as you want to eat, they'll keep bringing it. The food is fantastic. The people are absolutely wonderful. Okay, it's a not to miss. It truly is a not to miss. So folks, whether you're looking for something kind of easy, laid back, naughty dog, if you're looking for something to kind of go watch a sporting event or watch a game with, go check out Bonefish Max or go check out Packy's. Or if you want to go back to someplace really nice, kind of a little more upscale, and get yourself a full-blown meal and basically have to be wheeled out in a wheelbarrow. I'm only kidding. That was only me.
Oh.
It was only me. So there's a lot of dining options here in Lighthouse Point.
And not only that, but like we said, we're only, skipping a dime, 10 minutes from Pompano. You're very close to Deerfield Beach, Boca Raton. So there's a little bit for everybody.
So, as we mentioned before, Lighthouse Point is about 2.4 square miles, okay? And with 4 parks inside that 2.4 square miles, that's a whole heck of a lot of parkland for such a small area geographically, okay? And there are basically, as you said, there are 4 parks. So we're at one of our favorite parks, DeGroff Park. And it's the reason we like DeGroff Park is that it's a natural park area, okay? It has nice trees, nice foliage, a little bit of waterfront access, as you can see. It has some areas where you can, little picnic area up there, right up over the hill a little bit, crest over the hill. A nice little flowery area you can take a look at. It's one of our favorite areas. Now, there's couple other parks. One of them is Dan Witt Park, which is actually one of the largest parks here in Lighthouse Point. Dan Witt is a very, very cool park for a lot of reasons, I know, for a lot of folks. Number one is it has a playground for kids. Little kids can come and play, and they've actually gone and put in the playground itself, they put in some of that very, very soft stuff, so when the little ones take a spill, they don't get hurt. It's not like falling on concrete or falling on hard dirt. It also has a bunch of playing fields, so you go by there at any time during the day. You can see where kids are out there playing soccer, playing baseball, playing football, doing all kinds of great and wonderful things in the parkland. And it's also home to the Lighthouse Point tennis area, where they have tennis tournaments, a lot of tennis courts where you can go and sign up and you can check it out. And then for even more tennis, you go to Frank Madonna Park, where they actually have on the other side of Frank Madonna Park, where you can go to basically sign up for any kind of tennis tournaments, any kind of tennis lessons, or anything that you want to play.
Yeah, we've actually gone there to watch the kids play soccer.
We actually have. It's actually been enjoyable on a Saturday afternoon, going and watching the kids play soccer. We missed a lot of that from our kids. Our kids are all grown up now, so we don't get the opportunity to go do that. But it was so enjoyable that when we came out to do one of our other videos in Lighthouse Point, we actually stopped by and watched and cheered the kids on. It was kind of very, very nostalgic and very reminiscent of when our kids were young. So, but again, you have some beautiful parkland here in Lighthouse Point, enough that will appeal to everybody. Now, a couple of things. Parks are usually open from dusk to dawn, or dawn to dusk, I should say, okay? And you need to double check. Now, most of the parks will have picnic facilities, and they'll have some kind of pavilion, but a lot of them do not have grilling facilities, so you need to check to make sure. So make sure that that if you're gonna bring something, that you either bring food that's already prepared, okay, or that if it does allow grilling, that it will allow it, because you can get into some trouble if you grill where you shouldn't be grilling. Now, so most of the parks down here are dog friendly. However, where we are right now is DeGroff Park. We did not bring Buford. And those of you that have seen our videos with the Buf, we did not bring Buford because dogs are not allowed in this park unless they're service animals. And if it's a service animal, they're basically allowed anywhere.
Yeah, yesterday we stopped by and the park was crowded.
Oh, the park was jammed yesterday. It was just on a Sunday afternoon. It was actually jammed. So, but again, you have a wonderful variety of parkland here in Lighthouse Point.
Right, and as you saw in our intro, it's a great place to go fishing. We see a lot of that here too.
Exactly.
As well. So if that's for you, that's great.
So folks, there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed our little show, a little walk around tour of Lighthouse Point, seen some of the things that we love, some of the breathtaking scenery, some of the charming homes, some of the charming people that we met, okay? Some of the cool things we found out about the little mini butterfly world, and meeting the folks there, even meeting the folks that are down here from Toronto, who basically have watched us on YouTube up in Toronto. But again, if you folks have any questions about Lighthouse Point, about the Fort Lauderdale area, or even about South Florida, please feel free to reach out. Ask us any questions you have. Give us a call. Drop us a note. Text us. email us, DM us. Go ahead and click on the link, set up a calendar call. We'll chat for 40 to 45 minutes about anything that you want to know about real estate, Lighthouse Point, Fort Lauderdale area, South Florida. Just give us a call. We are one of the original YouTube channels, over 2 years bringing out video, showing people how much we love South Florida.